Hey guys, welcome to the eighth episode of Secret Dreams. Um, I'm here with Eli Zheleva and I'm gonna present her in a minute. Just before that, I want to share with people who don't know I'm Dimitri Wakov and I'm leadership coach. And I created Secret Dreams because I know that every single one of us has these secret dreams inside. Maybe for a marriage, maybe for a business, maybe for going around the world, maybe just to have fun, or maybe to have the freedom in life to decide what to do. No matter what, we have these dreams inside. But there is something which stays on the way for us to follow them, and sometimes even to connect to them and to get aware on them. So my goal with all these conversations here is to help you connect and get the courage to go after your dreams. And every single one who is here, Eli Zheleva included in that, uh, these people are people who I deeply believe that they are really following their dreams and they are going towards them no matter what. Ellie specifically, I know her for, I don't know, 6, 7 years. And the first thing which comes to mind when I think of her is that she unapologetically follows what she wants, and not only follows it, but she achieves it in a really beautiful way. Um, but not from a place of greed or from a place of crazy ambition, but from a place of service. And that's what I think is incredibly valuable, the thing which I saw in you, Ellie. And not only that, but she always thinks how what I do eventually is gonna lead me to really serve the world in the best way. She's gonna say more about this in a bit, I guess, but I'm gonna give her the word. Ellie, welcome to Secret Dreams, and yeah, share about your magical life.
Thank you very much, Dimi. That was an amazing introduction, and I hope that it's not very clear that I'm actually tearing up a little bit because it really touched me that this is how you see me. This is kind of how I see myself, but at times when you see yourself in a certain way, you think, is that a little bit arrogant? Is it a little bit cocky to do that? And I do believe that I'm put on this earth to help. And the way I see it is that even if I make one person today smile, it was worth living that day. And I could do it by giving someone flowers, compliment, giving them my time, making a joke, whatever it might be. So I do want to make sure that I contribute to make the world a better place every single day in one way, shape, or another. When it comes to my dreams, you know what? Recently, in the last few years, I've been thinking that I don't have that many dreams, which actually aligns with what you said because I have goals. Because to me, a dream is something that, like you said, that people dream about, but don't necessarily go for. And if you were to have the ambition and the vision of the dream and yet turn into practical goals, I believe that that's going to help. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that many people, for example, say, "Oh, I've always wanted to go to New York." And I'm thinking, okay, is that your dream? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how come you haven't gone? Well, I don't. And then when I ask them, so have you checked the tickets price? Have you checked how long the flight is? Well, no. And this is where it just baffles me when people say, "Oh, that's my dream." Because when I say that's my dream, I am obsessed with it. I'm just going for it. I'm looking at it every single day, looking at stuff, researching. I might not actively do something every single day, but it's on my mind every single day. Even this whiteboard that you see here, part of it where you see a lot of things cramped, those are the things for my dream. And my dream is to create a charity that is going to be called Peoplepreneur. And the charity the idea about it is to help people navigate life better. Because what I found is that many people get sick because they don't know how to manage stress. And stress is inevitable. So you can't avoid it because that might create even more stress for you trying to avoid stress. But they can't manage it. And this is where even the word disease comes from when people are at dis-ease. I felt that if there is a way for people to get the proper education, which unfortunately is not at school, because at school they teach you the language, they teach you literature, they don't teach you communication, they teach you maths, they don't teach you financial education. So the things that they teach us at school are very, very outdated. Yet we need to show up in a world that has moved on. And of course, those things are important, but there's different way to consume information nowadays anyway. And this is where my dream is. And before we started the conversation, when I mentioned to you about it, you were saying, "Oh, is that the charity from 3 years ago when you mentioned to me?" And I said, "Yes." And it hurts me a little bit because I've been talking about it for probably 5 years now, and it's not materialized just yet because for one reason or another, different things have come into place and have taken priority. I think that's the important thing, though, is that I never gave up on it. If anything, I keep thinking that that's my project of the decade. And that's why I have the whiteboard. I have written things down because every, I don't know, every month probably, I think of something thinking, oh, that'd be good for the charity. And I write it down. So I know that consciously over time, I
I
still
love it.
move in the direction. And um, even through my work, because I do marketing consultancy, business consultancy. And I work with a few charities. And of course, I'm happy to help the charity in itself. But then I'm thinking, oh, that's an opportunity for me to see how a charity is actually run, where they get the money from, so that I can understand the structure, which means that this is what I mean. In every single way, in every single interaction, the charity is on the back of my mind. And therefore, I see that conversation with someone or that interaction with that lens. And that helps me because it keeps it keeps me on focus. And I think that this is one important thing to keep in mind, that sometimes if people look from the outside, they might think, oh, you still haven't done it. So in a way, you failed because you have been talking about it for such a long time and nothing's happened. But as I said, me seeing the whiteboard, I know for myself that some things have happened. Not even as many as what I would have liked, trust me, because I'd love to have it full time. But the reality is that it needs funding, which means that I need to be in a position where I can self fund to start with, or to create sponsorship packages, or to do certain things. And it's just one of those things that the more I think about it, the more the vision grows. And the more I add to it in terms of scope, in terms of opportunities, the impact that I want to make. Because some things that you can't see on the whiteboard, but the topics that I want to cover are physical health, emotional health, mindset, financial education, healing practices, even pet therapy is there.
Wow.
Because recently I got a puppy, and my partner was saying, "Oh, I'd love to have her as a pet therapy pet." Okay, let's do that. And then I started thinking of that. Afterwards, I thought that I spoke to a friend of mine who is a painter, and he was saying to me, "Oh, I'm going to teach little kids to paint because it's going to help them reduce anxiety, help them focus." And I was thinking, huh, art therapy. That's also a good thing. So again, I added it on the whiteboard. And that's what I mean, that on the surface, it might look like nothing is happening. But if you know for yourself that you are working on it, sometimes even you waking up and thinking, what else could I add? To give you enough energy to get on with everything else that is not the charity related or the dream related. And I love the energy, the thought of me making the world even 1% better is because I believe that if people were kinder to themselves to start with, even 1% more, and they're kinder to everyone else 1% more, it's going to be a global shift. There's no way about it. And if I
Yes.
know that I have contributed, I believe that my job is done.
Yeah, absolutely, Ellie. I mean, I have two questions, main questions, which I want to a little bit understand more. But first, I know that you said several reasons why you were doing that. What you are doing is absolutely amazing. For 100%. I said it to you, but it's like,
Thank you.
it's what the world needs for sure. But what is your personal deep why? Why you want to create that?
Hmm. The the reason why is because I had I had people believe in me when I didn't believe in myself. I know what that feels like. And with those people, especially my ex-partner, is one of those very, very, very important people in my life who set me up on this path of personal development. And I remember when I was a teenager, I'm sure many teenagers go through that because of hormones and so on. But I was very down, very moody, very angry. And I see a lot of grown ups at the moment being exactly those things. So they haven't grown out of it. And I do believe that if they had the knowledge on how to regulate their emotions, on how to be with themselves, on how to identify what it is they want, they would be happier and there'll be less people in distress because it hurts me to see people suffering because I don't think that it's right for people to suffer. It's our prerogative, our right, birthrights to be healthy and to be happy. And people are focusing on the wrong things because society dictates that you need to have the career, you need to have this and that. And for me, the why is because I know how I felt when I went through that process and I know the journey that it has been, but I can see the results. And I want everyone to be able to experience this tranquility, this love for the world, this realization of what is important.
Why is this important for everyone to go through that, in your opinion?
I believe it's important because again, as human beings, we are designed to seek connection, to seek peace. Yet, because of the society we live in, and as I said, the education system as well, we don't know how to communicate, how to connect. We we go, I think that the human race at the moment, majority of it, is going against what our natural state is, but against our nature.
Got it. So the second one, and then we're gonna go uh, to the next topic. But a lot of people would say now they don't know you. They see you for the first time and they say, okay, it's easy for you to say that. You are achieving your goals. You don't have vision, but you have goals. You're making it happen. And some people say this is your upbringing. Maybe your family was great and everyone given to you, so it was easy for you, or your life was easy, and that's why you can focus on that. So always was like that. I want you to talk about this now, just for a bit. Is Was it like that for you? Always.
No, not always, not always. I'm happy to have a supportive family, that's for sure. But even then, they love me and they show me they love me. However, their mindset is not my mindset. I'm also from Bulgaria, like you, and a lot of people there have the scarcity mentality. And I know that my family, as much as they love me, they don't always understand me. They don't always understand the crazy ideas. Oh, I'm going to buy a house. Oh, 2 years later, yeah, I'm going to sell and buy another one. But You don't even change your partners that often. What's happening? And um, and even sometimes if I go out of my way to do something good, they might say, "That's nice, but I mean, did you have the time to do that?" And that hurts me, because as I said, I know that they love me and they're showing it, they're saying it, but we have different lives, we have different aspirations. So, for example, when I left what was considered a corporate job in 2013, the first thing when I said to my parents that I'm leaving that company, the first thing they said to me, "Are you going to be all right for money?" And I was thinking that if I hadn't done the work on my mindset to have the financial education before that conversation happened, maybe that would have got to my head. And I would have thought, would I? Even though that I had money in the bank at that point. And I just smiled and said, of course, because me leaving that company, I'm not going to leave my knowledge there. If anything, I'm banking on that knowledge to be able to make it. And as I said, I'm from Bulgaria. I live in the UK. I've been living here for 14 years now. And very often I'm the only female in a boardroom. And I'm still, well, actually, not still. As a couple of months ago, I'm no longer under 35, but I'm still relatively young. And yet I go to businesses and I tell people what to do with their businesses, which I know unfortunately in Bulgaria is going to be more difficult because there'll be a lot more prejudice. Well, I mean, while they take advice from someone who is half my age, but here people are a lot more open. And I know, but you know what? I have this project, one of the projects that I worked on called "What's Your Excuse?" And I'm working on creating a lot of data, and I'll create a tool that is going to help people identify that what they're doing is an excuse. And
Wow.
because I have one now friend who is Paralympic champion. So she has a physical disability, yet she's a Paralympic champion. So you can't tell me, oh, because I'm gay, oh, because I'm black, oh, because I don't have education, oh, because there are a lot of examples of people being in the same situation that actually have made it. So, and yes, no one is probably going to be in your exact unique situation, but there are people who have been through trauma, who have been through abuse, making it. And even if you look at people with what's happening now in Israel and so on, the people who leave the country, refugees to seek a better life, yet the people that stay. And I'm not saying that everyone should leave because that's not practical, I guess. But if someone really, really, really wants to make it happen, they'll find a way, one way or another. And I strongly recommend everyone, when you get a chance, read the book of Viktor Frankl, Man's Search of Meaning, because this man has been in an Auschwitz camp twice, and he's a psychologist, and he shares his story about how they would take everything away from them, clothes, jewelry, everything. They take away their dignity. They'll take away everything, their names. They were just numbers there. And yet, if you wanted to, you can make it. It's up to you to survive. It's up to you, the story that you're going to tell yourself because of what's happening to you. So I do believe that if people were to be open to change their perception, to read a few biographies of people that have been through tough stuff, that potentially is going to give them a bit of glimpse of, okay, well, Ellie might not have been through all of those things, so it's easy for her. But there have been other people that have been through worse than what I'm going through, and they've made it. So why can't I?
I love it. So tell me a little bit about how do you know the things which you are after? your dreams or goals, whatever you want to
Hmm.
say them, if how do you know but not from the societal expectations? How do you make this distinction? Because a lot of people go after something, they say this is mine, but it's not theirs. How do you detect this difference in you?
For myself, it's about the feeling that I get. And as I said a little bit earlier, just the excitement on having the opportunity to work on the charity. And because I love my job, don't get me wrong, I do love my job. I even recently proclaimed myself as a chief problem solver because I love solving problems. And with that, obviously, increasing business revenue and so on. But I just love the energy that the thought of the charity gives me. I I love thinking that there will be more people who would want to do good for the world. And I think that very often, even for the traveling side of it, is that if someone has a dream to travel the world, I would like to challenge that because that, to me personally, that is a lot more task based. Okay, you have hundred, how many other countries in the world. I want to visit all of them. Okay, you visited them, but now what? So, what is the why? When you go there, do you just want to be able to tag yourself on Facebook, or do you want to experience something? So, what is the feeling that you want to get? And that's why I say that for me, I know that I'm doing it from the place of my heart because of the feeling that I get. Because, and again, as I said, because of the way I see the whole charity concept, I do believe that every day, in one way or another, I'm striving to live by those principles. So it's not only I'll work on it when I work on it, but as I said, I try to make people smile. I try to help where I can, even when the charity is not ready. So I'm not only doing it for that. So this is my criteria and this is my guiding compass, I guess, to remind me of what I'm doing and to help me navigate that I'm doing it for a good reason.
Absolutely, and I just, if you allow me to add, in my life, I've realized that when it's about societal expectations, is it feelings like must, is like have to in me, like I have to do it, and there is way more tension there than excitement. I would say it's like I
Yeah,
have to make it happen, and when it's about your thing, it's you just looking forward all the time to do it, and you cannot stop doing it, and there is no tension but excitement and zest, I would say, even kinda.
and pull. I think that this is one of the difference with the push and pull, because like you said, if you have to do something, perhaps you need to push yourself a little bit. Whereas if you want to do something, you're pulled, you're drawn to that thing. And if anything, you're trying to keep your focus on the things that you have to do to make it
Yes,
happen, right? Because again, as I said, if I didn't have to work for money, that's what I'm going to do, and that's why I'm working for money now to make sure that I'm financially free in the next couple of years, even, and then to be able to dedicate a lot more time on the charity.
exactly, and that's a great way to see it, because some people believe there is this notion I need to work for something because it's work and I just have to make money from my work. Other people say I wouldn't work anything, I just want to do what I love. And you're saying something like a hybrid, like I'm gonna work, not that you don't like your job, you like the job, but you're gonna work yourself through this in order to make the money so you can invest fully in at some point in what you really want to do. So it's a way, it's
Yeah.
another way. It's like a gray area, right? It's not like one or the other. So I love that. I want to talk a little bit about fear, because
Hmm.
in my experience, fear is one of the main things which stops us to follow our dreams and our goals. Tell me a little bit about that. What are maybe one or maybe more? What are the biggest fears you faced so far in your life, and how do you deal with them?
One of the biggest fears has for a long time been my health because I've been kind of with a liver condition for 18, 17 years now. And I'm winning, but it's not gone yet. And exactly because of all the have to and all the want to, I can easily be doing things 20 hours a day. And I know that is not sustainable. And my fear at times is that I would get so hooked up on something, and as much as I enjoy it, I wouldn't feel the time that I'm investing in it, which means that even though it's not going to feel like fatigue or stress, the body is stressed because that is a lot of movement, a lot of thinking, a lot of connections, a lot of events, even. So all those things that, as I said, when you're having fun, because when you go on a roller coaster, you're having fun. Most people they enjoy that, but that is still stress on the body. And if you go on a roller coaster every single day, that might play against you, even though that in the moment you're like, yeah, having the best time of my life. But the body, the adrenaline that is released in all of that might have knock-on effect on one of your organs or something else. So that has been one of my fears. At times, as I said, the financial fear is, as well. I think that is still creeping up after conversations with people with scarcity mentality. But what I'm realizing then actually is that I only allow those thoughts to come in and I don't entertain them, but I allow them to come in when I'm not physically rested or even mentally. And this is why I think, again, connected to the health, I want to make sure that I'm in a peak state as much as possible on so many different levels to allow me to have those invisible barriers. Because I know that I have very strong energy, and it's taken me a long time to realize that. And I didn't always know it. But now I know that my energy is very powerful, and I know when my guard is down because I allow things. And again, because of all the work that I have done for myself, on myself, growth, healing, I can notice that it's not my thought because I know what I'm thinking usually. So I can recognize that and then I can let it go.
Love
Whereas
it.
many people, if they haven't done the work, they would think, oh, yeah, this is how it is. There's not going to be money. There's not going to be connection. There's not going to be something else. People are going to judge me because I'm this or that. And it's just preconceptions very often. That's not even their thoughts. Something happened, someone very often in childhood, an adult has told them something and they have interpreted it that way, or even the adult have told them themselves. Listen, we're from Bulgaria. We know that money doesn't grow on trees and it takes money to make money. Let me give you a very quick example for the takes money to make money. Let's say you ask me now for £10. And even if I don't have it, and you say, for example, give me £10, please, very urgent, I'll give you 15 back in a week's time. And I said, okay, but I don't have the money. But what I'm going to do, instead of just saying, well, I don't have the money, sorry, because now I have the right mindset, I'm going to say, hold on, I'm going to message as many people as I know and say, could you give me £10? At the end of the week, I'll give you 12 back. So suddenly, they give me the £10, I give it to you, you give me next week 15, I give them two, and I made £3 out of thin air because I didn't have the money in the
Wow.
first place, but I have the mindset. So all of those little things, and once you realize, okay, so it's not that hard to make money. Do you know what I realized? It's harder to keep it because people
Wow.
make emotional choices, and this is one of the things that it's frustrating topic for me at the moment. The people that talk about the increasing cost of living. Now, most of the people that I have had commenting on that either smoke or go out occasionally, as in on a monthly basis, definitely at least once, or have a Netflix subscription, have unlimited data on their phone, and probably have a expensive phone anyway, so good contract. And then, oh, but life is getting so expensive, which it is. But if you learn to manage your money better, then it's going to be easier for you to make it. Because those are the type of people that actually, even if their income increases, their spending will increase accordingly, as opposed to being able to then put some money back in the savings account or do some investment, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellie, it's so valuable to say that because out of this fear of financial fear, you came up, you learned how actually to deal and to manage with money, to deal with money, which shows how valuable is when you detect the fear to work with it actually and to create something out of it. I want to ask you though for another thing which is very important, and this is self-doubt. Because doubting yourself, it might really constrict the way you're approaching your visions. Because if you don't believe you can make it, sometimes even you can create, you cannot create even the vision. Tell me about this entity, self-doubt. How do you relate to it and work with it, and in what relationship are you with?
To me, I rarely nowadays doubt myself. Let's say 3 times a year for 5 times for 5 minutes. And it's more exactly because of the fact that I have been taken over the years consistent actions. I have the discipline to take those actions over a period of time. So whenever doubt creeps in, I have a lot of evidence for myself. And that's internal dialogue. Is no one needs to know, no one needs to keep tabs, so I don't need to share with anyone. But if, for example, I'm thinking, oh, will I be able to make it? And then, well, yeah, of course, you've done this. You didn't even have money when you bought your first property. You only had £2,000 in the bank, and you made it happen. And then you didn't have the money for this, but then you're a business owner, and then you didn't speak the language, but then what something happened. So I have a lot of evidence from a lot of different areas, and I think that journaling actually helps because documenting the wins is in gratitude. Documenting the wins sometimes help you when you have a moment of doubt to go back and say, oh, I mean, this year I ran a marathon, which I haven't run, but I have run a half marathon. I have done something else. And it's having these consistent mini challenges for yourself, I think that would help you to build the habit of believing in your own abilities. And because once you believe that you can make it, because I'm not afraid of work, I've worked 24 hours. I can pull an all-nighter. I can work for a week, even only with 3 hours sleep, if something is really, 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 really important for me. So I know that again, that's not sustainable. I'm not recommending it to to anyone to do it, but I know for myself that if I have to, I have what it takes. I said because I have shown myself. And funnily enough, would you believe, is it the way you see me today, even with my energy and with everything else, that at the moment as it stands, I'm on 51 hours of water fast out of 72. So I haven't had a single bite to eat for 51 hours. I've only had 2 coffees and only water.
Really?
So yeah, yeah, because I decided to do a 3-day water fast. At the moment, I'm very, very interested in the knowledge, in the knowledge and wisdom of a lady called Dr. Mindy Pels. She talks about fasting a lot, and she did this challenge, the 3-day fasting challenge. So I thought, let's sign up.
Wow.
And this is something I haven't told my parents or my sister because I know that and again, going back to the scarcity mentality, right? They love me. I know that. And exactly, they have trust in the decisions that I make. But because they don't understand all of them, at times they worry, and especially with my condition. But actually, I have done the research, I have done the teachings even, and I have done some courses, and I know that I will do the right thing. And the other thing that people don't realize when they look at me from the outside is that I know my body and I know how much to push it because at the moment, actually, I have enough energy to skip the rope for 2, 3 minutes. So it's not that I'm like, no,
Yeah.
which means that, and I have said that to myself as well. And I said it to my partner so she doesn't worry. I said, listen, if I feel bad to the point where it is going to compromise my health, I would stop.
Yeah.
But but even so, Dr. Mindy was saying that you're likely to have headaches. Some people would have rashes, and this is just all the toxins leaving us. And I do believe because actually one of the things that she said is that that mitochondria has memory, and some of is in after 3 day fast, stem cells are released in the body. So first thing to keep your mind on the bad cells die out, and because of the ketones that are released in the body, the new cells are now recreated, invigorated, and this process could kill cells that remember that you're an anxious person, that remember that you crave sugars, right? Which means that by the end of it, as in I don't consider myself an anxious person, but I have at times sweet tooth. So I think that if it helps get rid of those cravings, it's going to help me in the long run. So even little challenges like this, when I look back, I'm sure that I would be able to say, I did a 3 day water fast. So I know that I have the willpower, I have the discipline, I have the strength. And
Wow.
also in March, I'm planning to do a Vipassana. And this is a 10-day silent meditation retreat. And again, it's just a way to challenge myself. And but if when I said that to my parents and my sister, they were saying, "Oh, that's a lot of time. Are you gonna be all right?" So yeah, and I'm super excited about it. They're a little bit skeptical. Again, they trust my judgment, but they're like, not sure about it. I mean, really? To talk with no one? Is that safe? To be I said, of course it is. So that's what I mean. Sometimes even those that love you would project their own fears onto you. So that's why being able to differentiate which thoughts are your thoughts and which are someone else's, it's an important thing. And that only happens by you observing yourself and by you going through different coaching sessions, through different even audiobooks, through different
Yeah.
stories of people to see how they realized it. And
Would you say, Ellie,
yeah,
sorry that I interrupt you. Would you
no,
say that this is the key ingredient for you so people can really follow the dreams? Because we're at the end of the conversation and I want to leave people with a message from you, which is,
mhm.
guys, I know that there are many things, but if there is one thing I want you to start doing today, what would be that for you, Ellie?
Only ever say you're going to do something if you're really going to do it. Or if it happens that it slips your mouth, then make sure that dead or alive, tired or not tired, you're doing it. Because that's going to help you again going forward to have this confidence that okay, I had a tough day, but I said I'm gonna go for a run and I went for a run. Had a tough whatever it might be, other things are happening in my life, unfortunately, health challenges, whatever. But I know that if I say something, I'm gonna do it. And with that kind of conviction and having the proof of it, then it's going to help you tremendously. I said, even if you say, I'll be ready in 5 minutes, well, you better have a timer to make sure that you're ready in 5 minutes. Because that's the
Yeah.
biggest lie. I'll be downstairs in 5 minutes, 15 minutes later. Yeah, I'm coming.
Thank you, Ellie, for the amazing wisdom from your side. It was really a pleasure to listen to that every time. And people just listen to this episode several times, write your notes, and start doing things in your life. And like Ellie said, when you say something, just do it. Thank you. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you very much, Dimi. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.